Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. First of all, the countdown. 70 days remain until Field Marshal Asim Munir's second retirement and the arrival of the new army chief in the country. Today's first news is also related to this because just a few hours ago at 9 p.m. on September 20th, a large number of Pakistanis collectively gave azan, the call to prayer, to Field Marshal Asim Munir to free themselves from his oppression and his regime. This is a very interesting story because it has many dimensions. There were attempts to fail it, attempts to make it controversial. It was said that maybe the police would arrest people, and opposition figures as well as PTI members gave statements. Some people were encouraged, some views were legitimate, others were illegitimate. There's a lot involved, and we will try to discuss as much as possible so you can understand what exactly happened. First, you should know it was named Mission Noor initially. The people who initiated it were purely ordinary public members, common people. I will tell you their professions and main occupations, so you understand there was no big lobby behind it, no political movement, no major party, no big political figure. Purely organic common workers, political workers, social media activists, call them what you want. One friend drives a truck in Canada, another drives a taxi in Scandinavia. These two started it, then others joined. So there was no big money behind it, no big propaganda, no big movement, no big political personality, and that was better because it didn't get politicized. It remained an activity of the public. Personally, I also believe, and you have seen in my vlogs, that I'm not in favor of mixing religion with politics. When you mix religion and politics, somewhere backlash occurs, sometimes bloopers happen, sometimes words slip, and then people start making all kinds of things out of it. In our country, this is the most favorite issue to target someone. This is what happened with this movement as well, or at least an attempt was made to do so. First of all, people witnessed very spiritual scenes. From small children to elders, everyone gave azan. Not just within Pakistan, but abroad, wherever Pakistanis were, they gave azan. The whole nation came together and did something that perhaps the initiators of the movement hoped for, that an initiative would unite the whole nation, with no crackdown, no arrests, no harm. At that time, there was political stagnation. No political activity was happening, no protests in this way. People were frustrated, tired of this stagnation because they wanted to send Field Marshal Asim Munir and his associates home. In that stagnation, they needed some activity. Since political leadership did not provide any activity, the workers themselves invented and introduced this idea. Because people were hungry for breaking this stagnation, they embraced this idea wholeheartedly. Although it took around 15 to 20 days to fully take off, the idea was very popular from the start and many people participated. I didn't talk about it earlier. Many friends in comments urged me to speak about it, but I postponed because, as I said before, I believe religion should not be mixed with politics. When religion comes in politics, it often backfires. I will explain that later. First, congratulations to everyone who initiated it, played a role and spread the message. I often retweeted it on Twitter, and I contributed wherever I could. I also expressed surprise in vlogs, which I will explain later. Everyone saw how people from small children to elders, from abroad to Pakistan, including Imran Khan's staff in Banigala and many PTI leaders, gave azan. As the idea progressed towards around September 17th or 18th, a controversy arose on the 18th when Asma Bukhari tweeted a screenshot claiming that Mission Noor is linked to the Qadianis or Ahmadis. She said that their Khalifa was named Hakim Noor-ud-Din, and that on September 20th, 1948, Rabwa's inauguration took place. So, this whole matter is linked to the Qadiani or Ahmadi community. She questioned what PTI members were doing. This coloured the entire issue. You should know that in Pakistan it's common to issue a fatwa against anyone. When I was in government as spokesperson and advisor to the Prime Minister, the PMLN also issued a similar fatwa against me. I had to release a video clarifying my faith, how I believe in the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as the last prophet and do not believe in any prophet after him. I made that video to reassure people even though I never made any statement against anyone. PMLN spread false propaganda. If you stay silent on such fatwas, you don't know what might happen next, like in the Salman Taseer case. So I clearly explained my position. Likewise, these young people who started this campaign also had their lives and families endangered once all this began. They were completely innocent, but were labelled and targeted. Some of them said, because the date 20 and the word Noor are used by the Qadiani or Ahmadi community, the name or date should be changed and fatwas were issued. This means the religious colour was fully applied, and fatwas came down hard on them. These friends who started it were deeply hurt, angry and saddened. Some even used harsh language in response to those who issued the fatwas. On the other side, fatwas were issued. Some said it shouldn't be on that day but on another day. They also got angry. At first, PTI endorsed the whole thing with a tweet supporting Mission Noor and the Azan event. But when the fatwas came, they got cautious, deleted the tweet, and posted another saying Azan should definitely be given, but maybe the name or date should be changed. They tried to be careful, but, as I said, on one side were the fatwa issuers, and on the other side was social media anger because of the stagnation. No activity. Workers frustrated, common people frustrated. They even involved Arif Alvi in this. He also gave Azan, released his video and pictures, gave Azan at the same time as the activity. When fatwas came over the name and date, I won't go back into the debate of right or wrong, but I want to make it very clear that none of the people involved in this activity are Qadiani or Ahmadi. I know them well, and they hold beliefs contrary to those groups. So, issuing fatwas against them was wrong. Regarding the religious scholars discussing the date 20 and the Noor aspect, I will leave that with them, because I am not a religious scholar. As I've said before, with my 5 years' experience working with the Prime Minister and Chief Minister, I learned one thing. Avoid discussing religion unnecessarily in politics, because it creates problems for everyone. Anyway, the lives of these friends who initiated this are in danger. That's why I keep repeating, keep in mind these people have no connection with the Ahmadi or Qadiani community. Issuing fatwas against them is not correct. The harsh language used should not have happened. On the other hand, some people may have exaggerated the situation on purpose, making it more controversial to slow down or stop the movement. Some friends perhaps acted in good faith to change the name or date so that the azan could still happen. If I say more, one side will accuse me of supporting the other, so I request both sides to acknowledge that this was a good and successful initiative. The azan was given, the nation broke its stagnation. To the other side I say, reduce the fatwa issuing and harsh words. To the people who gave fatwas and endangered the lives of these workers and their families, I condemn that strongly. And again I confirm these people have no relation with the Ahmadi community. Now, you must be wondering why I didn't speak about this on Twitter. Aladdin makes amazing videos, and he was deeply involved in this. I used to see tweets from the main initiators there and would retweet them. That's how far I helped spread the message. But why didn't I talk about it in my own vlogs? The difference between me and other vloggers is that when I speak, I have to consider my party position. My party hadn't taken any stance on this, and anyway, I felt we shouldn't politicize this movement because it was an organic movement and it was obviously going to succeed. As I said, I saw the video messages from Aladdin's Ahmed Ali's video messages, and I retweeted some of Ahmed's and some of Aladdin's. I contributed whatever I could, but I didn't want to talk about it because if I did, then it would have taken on the colour of PTI, and then it would have turned into a political issue. Also, with all due respect, I want to say that it's my principle that when religion comes into politics, I personally feel it creates problems. You've seen it, when religion and politics mix, many issues arise. And those issues arose here too, which is why I keep having to say repeatedly that it's wrong to endanger anyone's life, and remarks made about certain people were wrong. Despite the troublemakers like Asma Bukhari who spread issues, this was a huge success. There's another aspect to it. If the police had arrested or stopped anyone, I can tell you from across the country that they didn't arrest or stop anyone because this was something they couldn't interfere with. Of course, there was propaganda, like what Asma Bukhari did. But no intelligence agencies or police could stop this because azan, the call to prayer, is such a fundamental part of Islam that no one can stop it. Now, these friends can obviously do a lot. For example, I can suggest some things, but they should do what they want and make it organic. Then we can look at it politically, how it is, who can take ownership, political parties or not. For example, if everyone switched off their electricity at the same time, if the main switch of their home was turned off simultaneously all over the country, there would be darkness everywhere, and everyone would realize people are protesting. They could set a time, like for 1 or 2 minutes at 9 o'clock, everyone switches off their electricity. That's one way. Here, religion wouldn't be involved, so controversies or propaganda wouldn't arise. I'm not saying that azan itself is wrong or that it's not a virtuous act. Azan is a virtuous thing, but propagandists will always find something to exploit. The same thing could happen with electricity protests. Propaganda could arise from that too. Similarly, they could release balloons or apply henna on women's, girls', mothers' and sisters' hands. Children could start a home vigil with a special word, one that wouldn't anger anyone so much that kids would be punished. Choose a special word, and the vigil could start with that. Again, my request is that if religion can be separated from the matter somehow, then maybe these propagandists wouldn't find space to create trouble. After that, people could play drums, stand on rooftops wearing the same colour clothes. A long time ago, someone advised me that people should come out of their homes and beat utensils. Obviously, those wanting to hold a national protest will have many ideas. They should definitely do it, but try to avoid controversy. Try to achieve your goals without any controversy. Congratulations once again, this was a very good effort and it should continue. But along with that, if my suggestions upset you, I apologize. If I offended any party because everyone's emotions are running high right now, if anyone was hurt, I sincerely apologize. But I felt I should share this with you. Now let's move on to the next news. The next news is about India's atomic bomb. America and President Trump have nearly announced a new policy regarding the H-1B visa, which is the visa many people use, including me once. It's a highly skilled visa. There are 2 or 3 ways to get nationality or a green card in the US. 1, by marrying an American citizen, which grants it. 2, asylum if you have political issues. 3, investment. But the most common way, especially for Pakistani doctors and professionals like me who came as professors, is the H-1B highly skilled visa. This is also common in the IT sector. The biggest American companies sponsor their workers on H-1B visas. When I initially got the visa, I don't know if the rules have changed, but I think it was valid for 3 years initially, then extended for another 3 years, and then a 1-year extension. I'm talking about when I got mine, a long time ago. After that, people usually apply for a green card. The destination of the H-1B visa is the green card. Once you have it, your employer can apply for your green card. So 3 years, then 3 years, then 1-year extension. If after 7 years you haven't gotten your green card or your employer doesn't apply for it, you have to leave. After 7 years, it cannot be extended. At that time, the fee was around $1,000. I checked now, it's around $1,095 for 3 years, plus the lawyer's fees, which are charged separately. Now, President Trump has issued an executive order stating that for every H-1B visa, the employer must pay $100,000 per year to the government, meaning $300,000 for 3 years. Previously it was $1,000, now it's $300,000. Generally, salaries for these visas are around $70,000 to $80,000, though it varies. When I was there, the cut-off salary was around $45,000 or $50,000 minimum. If you pay less, you cannot get an H-1B visa. Fresh graduates who study in the US or talent from other countries could also get H-1B visas. Now imagine if a big or small company pays someone $70,000 or $80,000 salary and pays $7,000 visa fees for 3 years, and now they are told to pay $300,000 in fees up front, plus lawyers who charge $15,000 because their fees depend on the visa fee. So now it's $300,000 plus $15,000. If they have to pay a $100,000 salary, it becomes very expensive. This is happening in San Francisco, near Silicon Valley, where all the big IT firms are. Most H-1B visa holders are there. People were already on the planes ready to depart. Their immigration was done, their luggage was loaded. Some say the plane had even taxied a bit. When they got the news that Trump signed this order, effective November 21st, the very next day, Sunday, it was implemented immediately. People thought if they go to India, they won't be able to come back. So they protested, shouting, "Don't make us get off the plane." Emirates Airlines had to return their planes. This didn't happen only in San Francisco, but everywhere. People got off planes despite immigration and said, "We don't want to leave the US." Airlines wanted to offload their luggage, but people refused to give it to them. Eventually, the luggage was offloaded, but the people refused to leave. The US is an interesting country. Immigration officers sat there, and once you're in line, you can't back out. They don't let you re-enter without going through immigration again. In Pakistan, you know the system well. If you slip a note with a picture of Qaid-e-Azam and Azam Rahmatullah Alayh, your work is done. But these people had to come back without that. This was a huge blow, and the IT companies are also worried. Nobody knows what Trump plans to do next. But this move is dangerous. It seems the goal is to give jobs only to Americans and green card holders and not to hire foreigners. The idea is to only offer jobs to American citizens and green card holders. Let's see what happens in the future, because this could break the back of India's IT sector, which is, really huge. Many Indians have penetrated those industries and become citizens. This won't wipe out India's IT presence overnight, but, well, it's a big blow for India. Moving on to the next news, our defense minister was asked if Saudi Arabia were attacked, what weapons would be available. Would nuclear weapons be available? He replied, yes, nuclear weapons would be available for Saudi Arabia. Everything we have would be available under this pact. This is, an official statement. Earlier, the defense minister said Afghanistan was our enemy country when the Taliban took over, but now he says the Taliban are our enemy government. Now he says the nuclear bomb would be used if necessary. It's unclear what would happen if Iran attacks Saudi Arabia, or if the Yemen conflict escalates. Would our nuclear weapons be available then or not? Alongside that, according to analyst Moeed Pirzada, the US and Israel were involved in this pact. He says without their nod it couldn't have happened because Saudi Arabia is very close to the US and the Field Marshal is very close to America. Without their nod, this pact couldn't have been made. If this pact indeed has US and Israeli approval, then consider this. Israel might argue that previously Pakistan posed no threat to them, but now Pakistan's defense minister is saying the nuclear bomb could also be used against us. So in this situation, Israel might want to neutralize Pakistan's nuclear capability, seeing it as an existential threat. Our defense minister talks big, but it's a complex situation. Before we wrap up, I'll tell you something important. Pakistan's ISI and ISPR have seriously instructed all major Pakistani TV channels not to mention the word nuclear in discussions about this pact with Saudi Arabia. They are to omit nuclear discussions altogether. They want the media to present Pakistan as the protector of the Muslim Ummah and the custodian of the Kaaba, but no mention of nuclear weapons. So if you watch TV programs, you won't hear anything about nuclear weapons, even though Pakistan's conventional weapons are fewer than Saudi Arabia's. Saudi has F-15S and many advanced weapons, but Pakistan's nuclear weapons are, a real game changer. But Chaudhry Sahib says not to talk about it because it bothers the US and Israel. Interesting times ahead. Let's see how things unfold. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.